Hey, welcome to my World Race Vlog number 2, or Cringefest 2.0, whatever you want to call it. I'm glad you're here watching for whatever reason. I hope you learn something interesting today, or just get caught up on what's going on in my life and on the World Race for Squad Q. So this week, what we did was we went into the community of Kaya Sands. We went around and evangelized. We saw a bunch of people, like, I don't know, I think 15 or something, give their lives to Jesus, which is amazing. I think we saw a couple healings. Saw Jesus heal a man's neck, which was incredible to see. Really faith affirming. Let's see, what else? Talked to a really nice woman today, got to pray for her. She was a Christian, but she had kind of strayed away from her faith a little bit, and so now she's back on track. She says she's gonna start attending the church nearby, and she's gonna start praying, and we hope to catch up with her on that, which is pretty sweet. We also worked with kids today through JK, which was super fun. Just danced with them, got to have a good time. I've got some pictures of that and videos that I might post soon. We'll see. And I helped out our as he calls himself, our glorified maintenance man, Mason, and just did some work around the facility that we live. Tore down a small house, actually, which was fun. I got to pull a lot of nails out of boards. So that's pretty much this week. Oh, also, I got a haircut from this nice Muslim man named Muhammad. It's really sweet. I walked in and I was like, "Hey, Muhammad," well, I didn't say his name. I said, "Hey, can you give me this haircut?" I showed him a picture on my phone, and he was like, "Nope, no need, man. You don't have to show me the picture. I got you." And I'm like, "All right, sounds good." And I'm like, "What's your name?" He says, "Mohammed. I'm from in Algeria? Yeah, Algeria." Just this nice guy. Didn't really say much the whole time, but he gave me a really sweet haircut. So that's that. You don't care about that. On to the really important stuff, the questions and the things you wanted me to actually talk about. So question 1, it's from my dad. He emailed me. It's, can you tell us a little bit about the peeps on your squad and the different reasons they decided to go on the race? Boy, there's a lot of people on our squad. I guess the main reason I've got from most people when I asked them is they wanted to travel and serve others and glorify God and bring other people to Jesus, which is exactly what we're doing, which is pretty sweet. But I think there were different reasons for everyone as far as like how they got called to it. I think for Alex, his mom found it online for him, and it was like perfect, and he was like, "Yeah, that looks awesome. I'll do that as mission work after high school." Boy, maybe I'll look more into that for the next vlog. Just ask some people more individually, maybe do some interviews. We'll see. But yeah, I think the main reason is people just wanted to travel and to serve the Lord and serve others, which, I mean, is not much more of a noble purpose than that. Where and how have you seen God move? Also a question by my dad. Well, one story in particular that comes to mind. I was talking to this lady today. Her name was Lungi. Yeah, Lungi. She was super sweet. And we were talking. I think she might have been drunk. I'm not sure. At least she was hanging out with a lot of drunk people. But we were talking about. I was like, "Do you know Jesus?" And she said, "Yeah, I was a born again Christian." And then 2 of my children died. 2 of my newborn children. And she started crying, and I started crying with her because it was a really sad moment. It was a really touching moment, and I could tell that, you know, that was something that had pulled her away from her faith, that had challenged her and made her, you know, second think the love of God and, you know, why God would allow something like that. And I just had a really good conversation with her, and I said, "Lungi, I can't tell you why God would allow your children to die or any children to die. It's really sad, but I just know that He's a just God, and if He wants them to be in heaven, then they'll be in heaven. And if you recommit your life to Christ, if you follow Him, if you strive after Jesus, you'll get to see them in heaven again, if God willed them to be there." And I don't know. I didn't really know what to say in that moment. Maybe I said the wrong thing. But she hugged me, and we just prayed, and we talked a little bit, talked about my faith, and talked about how she could get reconnected with a group of Christians with a church in the nearby area, and that was really good to have that conversation with her, and reaffirmed my faith to see God moving, and just, you know, this small conversation that some weird Minnesotan guy had, you know, with her, which is pretty cool. So we wrote down her contact info, and we'll be in touch with her again shortly to see if she's connected to a Bible study in a church and to some of the local people here in South Africa. Second question. Can you tell us about how you decided to go on this trip and when you made that decision in your life? Okay. I can tell you my story. We'll maybe get into other people's stories later. Also, by the way, I should tell you that I'm not going to answer all the questions because the last blog was like 22 minutes long. It was really long, and I'm sure like my mom and my dad will be willing to watch a 22-minute video of me talking, but probably most people will not. So we'll keep it short, just to a couple questions, and then maybe I'll do more frequent vlogs, but shorter ones throughout the day. So this one, I'm aiming for maybe 10 minutes, maybe shorter. We'll see. So how did I decide to go on the world race? Well, it actually started when I was like, I want to say 12. This really nice guy named Jake Morris came to our church, and he had gone on the 11 and 11 race, which is 11 months of ministry at 11 different countries. And he came and talked at our church about, you know, all the healings they saw, all the people that were saved, all just the amazing God stories that he had from his trip. And it really encouraged my faith. It was a time in my life where my faith was challenged, and he really just reaffirmed it and brought me back. And so that day, brought me back to my faith. And that day, me and my mom were heading home in our car. Oh, I think I'm about to sneeze. Nope, we're good. And we were heading home in our car, and all of a sudden, we were talking about Jake Morris and what he had said, and I was just kind of enthralled by all the things he had said. Because I'd heard of miracles happening before, but I'd never really heard it like second person from someone who had seen it up close and personal. So I was shook by that, and we were talking about it, and all of a sudden the car radio turns itself on, which our car radio did not usually do, still it usually doesn't, and it was the song "I Will Follow" by Chris Tomlin, and me and my mom just sang along to it, and it was great driving down 55 back home, and then the song was over. The car radio shut itself off. It was pretty cool. And we just kind of look at each other like, interesting, you know. And so then a couple days pass. I go to youth group on Wednesday night, and Jake Morris is talking there too. And I was just still enthralled with this awesome guy. And I went up and talked to him, and got a chance to talk to him afterwards. And he was like, yeah, wow, it's so cool that you're so passionate about missions work, and even though you've never been on a mission trip before, and he was like, I could totally recommend the World Race for you, in the future, of course, because you're only a 12-year-old, but yeah, it's really sweet. And then I just happened to mention, that our car radio turned itself on the way home after he had spoken, and he was like, oh, that's cool, what song was it? And I said, I think it was I Will Follow by Chris Guy, whatever his name is. And he was like, I Will Follow by Chris Tomlin? No way, that was our anthem song for our World Race. And I was like, what's the chance of that? So I think that was God just highlighting the World Race to me. He was like marking that experience in the back of my head, so I'd always remember it, And so I didn't really see Jake Morris after that, but it was a really cool experience. And so fast forward to like my junior year, I didn't really know what I wanted to do after high school. I was kind of done with school, didn't really want to do it anymore, or at least I needed a break. And I had been on some mission trips. I had gone to Nicaragua on a mission trip, and I guess, by this point I'd gone to Mexico on a mission trip, and I loved it. I loved doing missions work, and I was like, this is my passion. I want to do this, but how do I do this? And I remember the World Race, because, stored in the back of my head from when Jake Morris spoke. And so I went and researched it, and I found that there was a 9-month version, so like perfect amount to fit a school year. And I was like, dang, this looks pretty sweet. And I prayed about it and talked to my parents and etc. And then I applied, signed up, and I was accepted. And I was like, Lord, I don't know how this funding is going to go. I don't know how I'm going to pay for $15,800 trip. I don't have the money. My parents certainly don't have that money, but by the grace of God, family and friends and people I didn't even know that well showed up and donated money to me and to this awesome mission. And here I am, fully funded. Praise the Lord. God really came through in that. So that's how I came to go on the race, just through obedience to God, really. Boy, that sounded really conceited and narcissistic, but just by the grace of God, I'm here. Getting close to the end here, so maybe I'll answer more questions in a later video, because this is getting really long. Questions we'll answer tomorrow will be like, any cool animals you've seen? What sorts of things have you been doing on the trip? When do you leave for Thailand? So we'll get to those next time. For now, I hope you enjoyed this weird vlog thing, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.